if we could testing it right now, and I can also see that it's still a little choppy. But I am testing it on data instead of Wi-Fi, and it's still a little bit choppy. So, not exactly sure why the choppiness is. It usually the reason says that it could be for like internet connection, and we have really good internet connection here. However, I have a lot of things connected to the internet. I have like thermostats, I have thermometers, not thermostats, but like a bunch of thermometers and like wall outlets and all that kind of stuff, you know. So we have probably 1,500 plus geckos. Well, since this isn't working, I'm just going to go back to the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. We'll go back to the Wi-Fi, connecting. And we'll just do the stream on Wi-Fi because... But... What's going on, Grady? Will's Bikes. CD's Geckos, that's a pretty cool name. Elisa. Levi's Reptiles. Do you know how many leopard geckos you have? Probably about 1,500, 2,000, somewhere in that range. Destiny, Mr. Wizard. Sick. Good to see you. Bam Bam. Hello to all you happy campers. So, I was really hoping to figure out like the lagging issue, but apparently, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could just be I have too many devices in this home connected to internet. We have 2 computers, obviously a TV, but that shouldn't really be an issue. We have a bunch of wall outlets, a bunch of Govee thermometers. I just don't see that necessarily being the issue because when we go live on TikTok, we do not lag on TikTok. So it's something to do with YouTube. Oh, this gecko is just... This gecko is just waving its tail right here, but it stopped. It was waving it in like that motion. What do we got here? Hi, little one. It's a little black knight that poo-pooed in her water. So we're going to change her poo-poo water. Because you don't want geckos with poo-poo in the water. Looks like she's probably ovulating too. She's a good size for a black knight. Oh, whoa, she's a quick one. See that jump? She's like a crested gecko with that jump. Yeah, she's a pretty nice one. Yeah, I can definitely tell she's ovulating. You can see she's wide in the hips. You see them hips? Those is ovulating hips right there. Without even looking at her belly. That's how you can tell if a leopard gecko is ovulating. They'll be like really wide in the hips, specifically, or near the hips, like the lower abdomen. But even the upper abdomen, the hips don't lie. Even in case she jumps, I'll be down low. Even the upper abdomen will be a little bit swollen. Like swollen looking, I guess is just the best way to put it. So you can see she's just overall like really chunky. How many generations until the Afghanicus cross is black? 2 generations. So next year we should have Generation 2 Afghanicus Black Knights that will be pitch black and varying levels of darkness. We sold our first couple Generation 1s at the last Pomona Reptile Show in California, and we have a couple Generation 1s for sale right now. I just don't have the rack space to... I don't have the space or the rack space right now to breed our Generation 1s. So if you buy a Generation 1 from me, you could beat me to the Generation 2s. Like, you could produce them before me, potentially. You know what I mean? Just because I'm waiting to see, like, the next place that we move into and what we're going to do racking-wise and all that kind of stuff. Just put my first egg in the incubator tonight. Congratulations. Is it second gens for Snow Black Knight Cross? Sorry, Nicholas, not sure the question that you're asking. Hi, Mama. Tegus are doing good. They're starting to eat and get thriving. All of our Tegu eggs have now hatched, so we're just waiting on them to get up to size, and they will be rocking and rolling on out of here. What's up, baby boy? Hi, it's okay. It's all right. No need to fret. No need to worry. I'm just going to give him a second. Then we'll just try to come under him, like scoop under him, but, you know, get him onto the hand here. There we go. Once he's on the hand, then he'll feel supported and just act like you're a piece of land, basically. Love the stream, but gotta head out. We'll see you later, Mr. Wizard. We do have some firebolts, but we got them from another breeder, so I'm just growing them up right now. Let me see, are they in the rack? Are the firebolts in the rack? These were like the for sale. The firebolts are up there. This one, I think, is one of them. But this one's young. So we do have some older firebolts that are like really nice. And before this, I didn't have any firebolts. So I wanted to... Well, maybe it's back there. Yeah, so we got firebolts somewhere in here. It's probably back there, and they're pretty cool. I like the firebolts. I think they're cool, so we'll be working with some of those and whatnot over the next couple seasons. That one is not an eclipse, the tangerine one that I was showing. What does the longest geckos take to hatch? Usually 65 days, but sometimes 75. I have an egg that I'm incubating to be male. I'm at day 50. Is there something wrong? There could be temperature fluctuation. Maybe your incubator is fluctuating up and down. And because normally males, if they're incubated at 88 to 90 degrees, they'll hatch in 40 to 45 days. I'll have to talk to other breeders to see if they find this to be true. But I'm finding a way higher percentage of males at 88 degrees than I am at 90 degrees. But that could be because the year that I was incubating at 90 degrees, I was using reptibators and hovibators. And reptibators and hovibators are notorious for not being temperature stable. So if I was incubating at 90 degrees and the temperature was fluctuating to like 92 at certain parts of the incubation, that is what could have caused for some crinkled eyelids that came out that year, as well as like some hot females. And but at 88 degrees, I feel like I'm almost experiencing 100% males at 88 degrees, which is crazy, you know, because it was not that way the year before when I incubated at 90 degrees. When I incubated at 90 degrees, I only experienced about 60% males. 60 to 70% males. But at 88 degrees, I experience 100% males. And I think that's because the fluctuation point is much less important at 88 degrees than it is at 90 degrees. So, Mr. Glitch, Dragonheart, Yvette, Levi's Reptiles. You got a tangerine at an expo yesterday. That's great. That's why I love tangerines. They stand out so cool. I just saw that one of the people that is doing a Derpy drawing for us, that person just finished the first Derpy drawings. So I'm really excited to see what those Derpy drawings look like. And for you guys who don't know who Derpy is, this is Derpy, quickly becoming a fan favorite star around here. And you could see he just has the derpiest face, like a duck bill face. He's got a little bit of an overbite with like his tongue sticks out of his mouth and kind of overreaches his bottom jawline there. He's got those solid black eyes, so when he licks and stuff, like, he's just the coolest little thing. And so we got some artwork done for Derpy. And yeah, we're going to have some stickers and other, you know, promo items, maybe some magnets and pins and stuff like that for Derpy. No, Derpy eats by himself. But yeah, some geckos with jaw deformations will need assist fed, but this guy doesn't, so. Frank, we are in Cedar Point right now. Oh, that's cool. That's in America, right? Like California, isn't it? Or yeah, Derpy's awesome. There's his little tongue. You can see his little tongue just sticking out. And when he licks his face, his tongue looks so even more derpy. Oh, he just licked, but it's hard for me to show while I'm doing this. You want to lick for the people? You want to show the people? Let's see if we could touch the tip of his... Look at his tongue just like waiting in anticipation to shoot out of that mouth of his. Ah, can I touch it? So that's Derpy. So I just saw a text message come through that Derpy's artwork is done. So I'm really excited to check that out after the stream. He was originally called Botox Guy because Tatum thought that he looked like he had Botox on or something like that. So here's a Black Knight Afghanicus Generation 1 that's just sleeping, just chilling. So those ones are getting big now, you know, they're getting breeder size. And since they're still kind of young, I'm not necessarily in a rush to breed them. So I'll be all right just waiting on breeding them and, you know, just letting them get bigger and bigger until I have the rack space and everything. We're now considering a couple options of whether we want to like rent a warehouse, you know what I mean, like lease a warehouse, or whether we want to get a separate house just for reptiles, or whether we want to keep this current house as the reptile house and Whitney and I will move. So we're now entertaining all of those options and trying to decide what is going to give us the best yield, you know. I also really like, where is he? Mandarin Tremper. This one's pretty cool. I like Tangerine for sure. And I like the tangerines that have like pattern in them. So. Oh, this is the guy, the Zigzag Boy. I like Zigzag Boy right here. His bold stripes just have this kind of like zigzag place. Yeah, we want to rent a place. The problem is nobody wants to, within our budget, nobody wants to rent out a warehouse to an animal breeding operation. Of course, within our budget. You know, we're not looking above our budget. I guess it's possible above our budget to get like a large warehouse, and they would be much more open to it. But the smaller, you know, warehouses like 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet, they're just not interested. They just don't want animal breeders in those smaller facilities. We've been looking really hard. We have a commercial real estate agent, and they've been looking really hard, and it just hasn't happened. But I'm a firm believer in things will happen the way they're meant to happen. You know what I mean? Especially if you just stay focused on what you need to do, and in the right time, what is meant to be will be. I just got a new baby Leo gecko, but when I came back from skateboarding, his tail fell off. It will grow back. It'll grow back probably within a month or two. Yeah, and the interesting thing is we have another bold stripe that has almost the exact same pattern. Let me see which one it is. Was this one right here? Gosh, I'm mixing these guys up big time. This is not the guy that has the same pattern, but I want to take a look at this guy real quick while we're looking at him, because he has a very interesting pattern. I like this guy. I like him. So he started off with some very thick, bold stripes. And what happens with the bold stripe is the stripes start to spread. And so now you can kind of see the beginning part of the stripe is on the top part of his back, and then it's also on the bottom part of his abdomen. So that's how thick the stripe is, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. So it gives him this quad stripe look. It makes him look like he has four stripes because of how thick those two stripes are, you know? And he just has a lot of like paint splatter, speckling in the midst of him. So but let's see if we could find that other one with almost the exact same head pattern. This one is not it. The younger geckos, do you see what I mean by the stripe splits? So the younger geckos start off with a single dark bold stripe, and then it starts to fill in with purple, and then it fills into the body color of the animal, which is yellow, as they get older. And that stripe keeps spreading wider and wider and wider. I think... No, it's not that one. I know there's another one that has the exact same... Here, no, this is a Mandarin reverse stripe clown thingy. Yeah. Afghanicus bold hyperzanthic. This is the frowny face. You can see the frowny face right there. See the frowny face? Almost like a ghost frowny face. Maybe it was just this one with that head pattern. I could have swore there was another one with the exact same head pattern as this boy. But I really like this one too. So this one is from our pinstripe project. So whenever you lift a leopard gecko's humid hide, they will oftentimes come running out of the hide. So it's a little trick that I'm trying to do right now. You lift the hide, you put down the hide. You lift the hide, you put down the hide. That way I don't have to open it because I only have one hand right now. See? And he comes right out. I really like this pinstripe project. So the pinstripe project is just a neat, thin, bold stripe line. And this is hyperzanthic and white and yellow, but cool nonetheless. What about a pop-up? That's a good idea. You mean like, do you mean like in a mall or something? Or what about doing rent to own? That's a good idea too. They have really big rent to own sheds. Oh, that's a company? I didn't know about that. I'll have to consider that. Rent to own. Susan Gilliam. Super nice, yo. Thank you. Jesus Saribia. Want to make money? You need money to make money. You don't risk no money. That is that is true in most cases. You do need to put it all out on the line to, you know, sort of get that return, especially if you're looking for the return to be quicker rather than later. Only when they feel threatened or very stressed. Is all leopard geckos are not yellow. We have a bunch of orange leopard geckos. So, like, where was the boy? I was just showing the boy here because he's out right now. So you can see this leopard gecko. He's a male, tangerine. He's orange. Do y'all have those big wooden sheds in Arizona? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but that sounds like it could work. You know what I mean? Love your pinstripe project. Thank you. Do you have Eclipse bold stripes? Eclipse bold stripes? Ooh, that's a good one. I have Eclipse. I have bold stripes. Here's the closest to an Eclipse bold stripe. You could kind of see the stripes going down the side where the lavender was, but this is Eclipse. And it is not, it's not even in our bold stripe project. It just came to mind when you said that right now, because those lavender sides are kind of striping a little bit, but that's nowhere near probably the stripage of like a normal bold stripe. But what happens with Eclipse is Eclipse reduces the color and the pattern of the animal. So if you look at this animal right here, this animal has reduced pattern, and that's from the Eclipse gene mainly, that is giving it like this speckling effect. Now, this is also Fasciolatus and Max Snow, and both of those, you know, complexes are giving this animal an entirely kind of lightish, lavenderish kind of look and tone. But the Eclipse gene is what I think is really making this particular animal very speckled looking. So Eclipse, I don't know, you guys have to let me know. I don't know if I've ever seen a bold stripe Eclipse that has really good stripes, because Eclipse breaks up the pattern of the animal, making it so that the pattern of the animal is more polka dotty than it is striped. Are bold stripes usually on the small side? Yes, that's a good point. Bold stripes are on the small side. Does anybody know why? I always talk about it when we're talking about Black Knights, when we're talking about tangerines. It's because to achieve the look of a bold stripe, many years of inbreeding and line breeding had to take place. And overall, those geckos' bold stripes are generally shorter. They're still stout. Most of them are still stout and chunky, but most of them are shorter in length than your average leopard gecko. And the reason is because everybody breeds stripes to stripes, and those stripes are already related. And then because they're so related, they start to lose size. And then because they start to lose size over time, over the last, 5 to 10 years, the project has just, the best striped animals have been the smallest ones. And so people keep breeding those, and the cycle goes on, We do have a Black Knight. I have one right here. I mean, we have a lot of Black Knights, but this one is the last one that we have that is like really dark for sale. Let's try our trick where we pick up the hide, put down the hide, pick up the hide, put down the hide. That way I don't have to open this with one hand. There's no dirt on the top of this, so I don't mind opening this one with one hand, but the ones that have dirt on top right here, it becomes a little bit annoying to open, because then when you open it like this, the dirt gets everywhere. And the funny thing is, as soon as you start to open it, watch, she's going to come out. Like, as soon as you start to, like, open it, they, like, find their way out the hole, usually. So, she didn't do it this time, though. So, this is one of our Black Knights that's still available. She's actually ovulating. She's a big girl. If you want to buy her off our website, you could pay her off on a monthly basis. So, like, $100 a month, probably for about 12 months. And then you can get her now. So pay later, get now. We do lives every Monday and Saturday on YouTube in the evening time. And then every Tuesday and Thursday on TikTok in the evening time. And then sometimes we will do spontaneous TikToks. So like yesterday was Sunday, and we did a TikTok yesterday when Taylor Swift, aka Tatum, was here cleaning snakes for the first time. So we were just vibing with Tatum. See, I'm using the young kid lingo now. We were just vibing, just hanging out, you know, just kind of monitoring her do the snakes and just, you know, having some fun with some back and forth reptile conversation and whatnot, and seeing some snakes while she was cleaning them. Here's my crocodile geckos. We're currently trying to find the best way to house the crocodile geckos. There's one right there, you can see. It's a crocodile gecko. They're very cool. They are much more of a display animal because of how cool they look. So what I'm going to do is try to figure out what kind of acrylic displays I want to use, and I'm going to put them in there. So, like, check this out. I got this from Temu. I think I showed this to you guys before. This is $30 on Temu. And technically, you could stand it vertically like that, and it could be a vertical enclosure. There's magnets at the bottom, so you would pull this up. It comes out if you want, and then you would put it down. And the magnets stick. It also stacks, like if you buy more than one, it stacks on top of another one perfectly. And if you want to use it horizontally, which is what it's meant for, you could use it horizontally. So I might put the crocodile geckos in these, just because I think they're going to be a beautiful animal to like show off, you know, and we'll probably make it like a bioactive kind of thing, you know. So Temu was pretty good for that. We were able to get it. If you were to buy one of those from Herp Cult, the website Herp Cult, I think it would be about 40. I think it's like $45 for that on Herp Cult. On Temu, it's $30. And if you have a wholesale account with Herp Cult, you could get it even better. So the banded geckos are good. We got a bunch of, these are all our bandeds right here. So we could peek in, take a look at a couple bandeds. This is the little baby banded. Look how small this little baby banded is. And these are the adults. So like this is, that's the female in there. This is the male right here. And this guy's kind of like almost pastel-like. He's very very light in coloration. They're really smooth. And that's one of the ways you could tell male. Do you see those spurs? You see those little spurs? Wow, this video quality is coming through pretty good. Those little spurs at the base of his hemipene sac right there. The males have those, and the females do not. So, like, this is a female right here. And the females, I think, are also bigger. Because every single female I have is bigger than my males. So, like, let's look at this one. Again. Nope, that's the male. Oh, these are 3 males. Sorry. If you are looking for a Coleonyx male, I am considering selling these 3. So these are 3 males, 3 adult males, and they're from the locality of the Western United States. You know, there's a few different localities. This is variegatus. Coleonyx variegatus. And so those are 3 extra males that I'm going to probably sell. And here is a female. And so check out her size. And she doesn't have any spurs, or the spurs are very, very small. And then here's the male. Look at this male. He looks very leopard-like, right? Really exotic. But if we check him out up closer... You ready, buddy? Or is this a female? Let me see. I might have had a male in here and then 2 females. Nope, this is a female. So where's the male? Maybe he died because we put 2 in here. He either died or Tatum let him escape. No, I'm just kidding. Look at that. That guy's pretty cool. Almost like lavender-like. Unless the girl ripped off his... Maybe the girl ripped off his spurs. No, I really doubt that. But yeah, these guys are really cool. They're very soft, very velvety, like feels like your skin velvety. Well, we're gonna have to put another male in here because this is a girl. This is not a boy. Maybe? I wonder if she bit his spurs off. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look deeper into this. I've always judged male or female by the spurs. So let's look at the female. Let's see if she has the hemipenal bulges. Whoa. Whoa. She's a little bit quicker than the male was. Or I mean than this other one was. She's a really pretty yellow. Check her out. She's a really pretty yellow. It kind of, you know what coleonyxes remind me of? Like, you ever have that grandma that, like, just dresses in, like, leopard print and stuff like that, you know? Because that was, like, the style at some point. They kind of remind me of, like, that bougie type of vibe, you know? So this is a female. And I'm looking for the pores, like on a leopard gecko. And I don't see them. And I'm also looking for the hemipenal bulge to compare that to this other one over here to see if this one truly is a male. Because his spurs are like bitten off or something. Or they're just very small. It looks like he has bigger bulges for a gecko of his size compared to her. Let me check if she has spurs now. I know this is a female for sure. Like, no doubt this is a female. So if she has little spurs, which she does look to have little spurs. If she does, then that's a girl too. And I need to just put another male in here for these guys. Yeah, I mean, it does look like she has... Hi, baby. She tried to bite me, squeezing through. But their teeth are so small, like, it doesn't do anything. Funny thing, though, these guys will eat scorpions in Arizona. Crazy. Like in the wild. Yeah, she does have those little bulges. The little spurs, like tiny, tiny ones. So, I need to put another male in there, is what that's telling me. Check this one out. This one's really light in coloration. Yeah, we do see geckos wild sometimes. I know the perfect spot to herp for coleonyxes. So if you guys are ever in Arizona, we can herp for coleonyxes. She kind of has like a twisted foot there. I think that was from a time when she had gotten some dry shed and it just kind of messed up the orientation of her feet. It's not MBD because they're the same as leopard geckos, so they get the calcium and all that kind of stuff. But look at her color though. Her color is like this lighter color, really interesting. I hear that there are some people that know where to find Gila monsters in Arizona, but I don't. I've never seen a Gila monster in Arizona, and I always wanted to. But I never did. Also, I've never seen a rattlesnake in it. Well, that's a lie. I have seen a rattlesnake in Arizona, in Yuma, Arizona, but never in this area. Like, in the Gilbert area where I'm from. See, there is the male's spurs. You see those two spurs? Those are spurs. That is a male. He's a pretty decent sized male too. So a lot of people say you can't handle these. Wrong. You can definitely handle them. They're so easy to handle. They feel smooth like human skin. It's crazy. Oh, he has like a paradox spot there on his side. Right there, like a black spot. That's interesting. I don't remember seeing that before. So these guys have been with me in captivity. These ones are even captive born, but our whole Coleonyx operation has been in captivity for like 5 years or more. I just took the last 2 years off from breeding them because I didn't have time or space. The demand for them is not super huge, you know, so I just didn't really, I just wanted to focus on like the leopard geckos and stuff. But this year I decided to put a couple pairings together, see if I could at least hatch a couple babies and maybe offer a little variety, like on our website and stuff like that, you know. I will be right back. All right, let's see what questions did I miss. Yeah, they look like little spears, yeah. What's the chance of line breeding a morph with the banded? Albino, hypo, etc. Sorry, can you explain that? Oh, you mean Western banded geckos with leopard geckos? They're actually cousins, so they're both in the family of Eublepharidii, meaning eyelid geckos. That's what eublepharus means. It means eyelid in Latin. And so they're both in the same family, but they're so different in size and all that kind of stuff that I just don't think that would be possible. However, if a mad scientist could take like a sperm from a leopard gecko and then like an egg from like a Coleonyx gecko and like create it in like a laboratory setting, I think that would be the way that it could be possible. You know, it's kind of like dogs, right? There are some dogs that naturally cannot be born in a natural way, right? Maybe you guys know what dogs that would be. I don't know. But the way that some dog breeds have come about is not by naturalistic means, but by human interference means, you know? So I kind of like that kind of stuff. Like, it intrigues me. I'm very into like sci-fi, fantasy, science fiction, you know. So where we live in Arizona, we do have Coleonyx geckos here naturally in Gilbert, but you just have to know where to look for them. So yes, they are out here, Alyssa, but it's not like you're going to see them just walking around at night. Like, you really have to know where to go for them. And you want to go somewhere where there's like a good water source, good humidity source, good insect source. And if you're ever in Arizona, I know exactly where that is, and we can go there, and I bet you we'll find dozens of them. So yeah, bulldogs and French bulldogs need human intervention to give birth. There's another good example. No crossbreed, just banded to make more colorful morphs. I mean, yeah, so within banded Coleonyx geckos, there is a leucistic morph, which is kind of like like a lavendery white type morph. I'm calling it pastel, but there's seemingly morphs where it's like a brighter, higher yellow. I'm trying to think what else there is. I think there might, don't quote me on this, there might be a morph that takes away pattern. If you really want to know more about Coleonyx geckos, there is a Facebook page called Coleonyx Geckos. And you could go to that page. It's like the only popular page for Coleonyx out there. So you could go there and you'll immediately start to get linked up with all the people in the hobby that are really into Coleonyx, you know? What else we got in here? Is that the firebolt one? Let me see. Nah, this can't be it, I don't think. Nah, that's not it. Tatum's got her shelf right here, which is everybody that's on Health Watch. Skinny young females that are ovulating and not eating, young runty geckos that are having issues, you know, because not every animal is going to thrive. So that's these two columns right here. And then these two columns are something different. Those are just regular geckos. Oh, those are geckos that we got from another breeder out here in Arizona. So I normally separate them just to keep them quarantined, make sure everything is good with the integration of them coming into our operation, you know. So I mean they've already been quarantined for like a month or 2 months now, but sometimes I just leave them in their own section for 3-4 months or so. So yeah, I mean, these are all the geckos that we need to put up on like our website and stuff because they're getting ready to be sized out soon. These are the geckos that we currently have up on our early access catalog, and like half of those are up on our website. I got to update the other half tonight, actually, probably. Hi, Frank. I had another baby hatch today. That's good. Congratulations. Hatching baby leopard geckos never get old. We do not brumate our leopard geckos. We don't do it. I know Brian Barczyk does it. Our website is geekygeckocreations.com. And here's brand new babies that we need to set up. So we put them in these, what do we want to call these? Like pre-set up pods. So the geckos go, do I have that flashlight? I do have the flashlight. So the geckos go into these pre-set up pods, and in these pre-set up pods, they have food, they have water, so they will last no problem for as long as they really need to. A week, 2 weeks even, you know what I mean? Why is there no babies in here? Guys, where's the babies? Where is it? I bet you it's like under the paper towel or something like that. Oh, it's behind that one's behind the water bowl. Couple babies in the corner there. These ones are empty here. So those are just the pre-set up pods. It just helps, you know, like if someone has to come in. So like Tatum's coming in now and she's pulling eggs from adult females, candling the eggs, and then putting them into the incubator. But when you put them into the incubator, some babies are hatching in the incubator. And it's easier to do when you're doing something on mass level, it's easier to do one type of job at once. For example, it would take her 10 times longer to stop what she's doing with the adults, go to the babies, and do what needs to be done for every single baby and bounce back and forth, setting up every time she finds a baby. So instead, what we do is we pull all the babies out. So we'll go into the incubator, we'll pull out, you know, however many babies it might be that day. On average, it's usually like 50 to 60 or something that we have at any one session, like pull-out session. And we'll set them up in those pre-tubs like we were just looking at right there. And they could sit in those pre-tubs for a couple days, no problem, like no worries whatsoever. So if she's finishing up the adult room, she could finish up the adult room and then do the babies a couple days later, kind of thing, or somebody else can, because we have also Angie that knows how to set up babies here too. So, is there a Black Knight male in that soon to update list? Honestly, probably not. I just need to find the time to sift through these like 200 geckos here and find the 5 males that I produced last year. Last year I produced 5 males, so I need to find them in here, and then I will know where they are, and then I can consider selling like 1 or 2 of those males. That's what I need to do. I've just really been trying to focus on like sales and uploading the website and everything, because we are trying to move out of this operation, and to do that is very costly financially. So I am trying to be on top of my game as far as sales go, so that those sales can support the growth of the business, you know, and where we're going to next. So what crosses do you get if you breed a Clown Inferno with a white and yellow Tangerine? So Clown is Tangerine and Emerine, and Inferno Tangerine is Tangerine and Emerine, and a Bold Emerine Raptor. So what you're going to get pretty much is, you're pretty much crossing a Tangerine and Emerine animal to another Tangerine and Emerine animal. So what you're going to get is a variance of babies that are Tangerine and Emerine. The official name for what those babies are would be long. It would be Clown Inferno, you know, white and yellow, Pos Het Raptor, you know what I mean? Or not Pos Het Raptor, Het Raptor. So the name is where it gets a little tricky because of how many different lines that you just combined, right? So let me give you an example. Ronnie, let me say hi to Ronnie real quick, because Ronnie is one of our big fans that I really enjoyed meeting at the California shows, and he really enjoys our Mr. Freeze Fasciolatus project, so thank you so much for that. Exotic World of Geckos, thank you so much for that. Let me explain why leopard gecko genetics are so complicated and why so many names are involved. And you tell me whether you think that this is right or whether it's not right. If you take, let's talk about human beings for a second. And this is easy for us to realize because America is very diverse. If you take somebody that is African American and Hispanic, and they have a baby, a child, with somebody who is Asian and white, what is that child? That child is African, Asian, Caucasian, Hispanic. That's what that child is. So it's the same in leopard geckos. When you say, what do I get when I cross a Clown, Inferno, Bold Emerine, all of those that you just listed are exactly the same as like different nationalities of people. So is it right for you to just be like, oh, this is just a Tangerine? Yes, because essentially it's a Tangerine. In the same way that that child that was born is a human being. Like if you called that child a human being, it would be a human being. But anybody that wants to know the genealogy or the lineage background of that child would have to know the parental lineage and even those parental lineages. So if you guys have ever taken like a 23andMe or something like that, it comes back with the ridiculous amount of percentages of what you are, right? It's like 5% Hawaiian, like 20% Pacific Islander, you know, like 30% Italian, and like 40% Russian. Like it breaks down your genetics on a percentile basis. That's exactly the same as when you ask me, what do you call a Clown Inferno crossed to an Inferno Bold Emerine? That's what you're talking about. You're talking about different nationalities that are mixing inside of a gecko. The only thing that's clear, without a doubt, that's easy to say, is Het Raptor. That thing is going to be Het Eclipse, and it's going to be Het Tremper, because one of the parents is a visual eclipse, visual tremor. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to use that analogy from now on. I like that one. I don't know. You guys let me know if you like that one. But the nationality analogy, I think it helps put things in perspective more. You know? Sorry about that. Lost connection. The nationality thing helps put things in perspective when it comes to line breeding, which is a lot of things in leopard geckos. Black knights are line bred. So let's say, okay, here's another good example. What's the difference between a pure black knight and a black knight, black pearl, carbon, tangerine? Or no, forget the tangerine. Black knight, black pearl, carbon, because those are all dark lines. The difference is, let's take like the nation of Africa, the country of Africa. The continent of Africa has many countries, right? There's Ghana, there's Egypt, there's what else? I'm terrible with geography. So let's say black knight leopard geckos are from Ghana, and then carbon leopard geckos are from Egypt. You know what I mean? And then black pearl leopard geckos are from a more southern region of Africa, right? So these are 3 different regions of Africa, but they all look similar, right? They all have dark skin, similar features, because they're from the same continent. So that's similar to the black knight leopard gecko. Is what's a pure black knight leopard gecko? A pure black knight leopard gecko is just black knights that were bred within Ghana, like Ghana people and Ghana people having babies, instead of Ghana people having babies with Egyptian people, having babies with other African country people. You know, so when you start mixing different countries in there, you're mixing different bloodlines and different lineages compared to just one pure location. Now, that is good and bad. First, let's start with the good. It's good because the features that you're looking for, like the black knight features that you're looking for, are going to be accentuated. They're going to be more pronounced when you breed to a similar country or nation, if you want to put it that way. If you breed a Ghana black knight leopard gecko to a Ghana black knight leopard gecko, those people or those leopard geckos are going to share much more closely related bloodlines and similar characteristics. So the features that you're looking for are going to come out stronger than if you breed a leopard gecko from Ghana with a leopard gecko from Egypt. You know what I mean? If you kind of understand what I'm tracking with right here. So the con is that you're inbreeding and you're going to see higher percentages of health issues. For example, like certain islands or certain tribes of humans that are closer related because they normally don't leave the village or they don't leave the house, or, you know, I'm not the house, but I mean the house. That would be inbreeding. That's something different. But they, you know, they don't leave that region. The genetics in that region are very inbred to a certain degree and very closely related, and that's when you get the higher percentage of issues. So that's why people are all about like outcrossing the black knights and stuff like that. So that's why I'm working with Mendelian traits. I'm surprised you even know what the word Mendelian is. Mendelian traits is, oh man, I don't want to say it's the best way to go for beginners, because to me, this is just to me, line breeding is easy to understand. I always use the Shaquille O'Neal example. If Shaq, most people know who Shaq is, 7-foot tall basketball player. If he has a baby with a 6'5" woman, are those children going to be tall? Yes, more than likely. If an orange leopard gecko has a baby with another orange leopard gecko, are they going to have an orange baby? Yes, because you're taking 2 parents that have the same features and it's going to be accentuated in the baby. So
maybe it's just because I haven't been like a newcomer for so long, but to me, that seems easy to understand. However, when a newcomer comes in, they're looking at all of these different names. They're looking at Mandarin Tangerine, Inferno Tangerine, Atomic Tangerine, Electric Tangerine, Clown Tangerine, Blood Tangerine. They're looking at all these tangerines and they're like, what in the world is going on? When in reality, here's a little secret, guys. You want to know a secret? They're all the same. They're all the same. It's just a tangerine. Yes, some tangerines come from different lineages and accentuate certain features more than another. But at the end of the day, what is a tangerine? A tangerine is an orange leopard gecko. So, what's up, dude? I started in Leos when Blizzards first came out, but was in college at the time. I wish I'd stuck with it. Tipping Scales. Good to see you in here, man. Yeah, so maybe people who are newer, they could help me understand where the processing challenges are for people who are newer. And then I could do more videos on those topics and stuff like that because, you know, I might not completely understand from a new person coming in 2023, like what their mind is going through when they see certain conversations or topics and stuff like that, you know? Oh, this one's a big chunky one right here. Thank you, Gecko Freak. We would appreciate some likes on the video. 23 people, 8 likes. I think we can get those likes up, right? Now we got 9 likes. So thank you, whoever. 10 likes. Thank you, number 10. See, this is kind of like purple heady. I don't know if you know what the purple head... This is a great example. Hold on. Let me use this as an example. So John from Gecko Boa has a line that he calls the purple head. And what it is it has black spots here and it has black spots there, and it's a tangerine leopard gecko. But it has spots in certain locations on its body, okay? This gecko is not purple head at all. It's just Mandarin and it's just Inferno. But if you were to look at this gecko, why are you making me nervous, girl? Hi, baby. This is why I love leopard geckos. Look how sweet they are. So sweet. Purple head. If you were to look at this, and if you were to look at a purple head, you could definitely see very similar characteristics to where the spots are forming here and the spots are forming there. So should I just call this a purple head? No, technically, because I'm not the originator of the line and where he started naming it from. But did I just create an animal that looks like a purple head without actually using purple head genes? Yes, because at the end of the day, all tangerine bloodlines are just a tangerine leopard gecko, and you could essentially do what you want to do from any line of tangerine with enough time of working that line and mixing it with other things. You know what I mean? Yeah, this girl's going to be one of our future breeders. The sailfins are doing great. I'm looking into building the sailfins like a naturalistic enclosure with like a waterfall and a filtered like water tank so that I don't have to change out their water. So it's the compounds of the names for me. Yeah, I get that. That I get of why that's difficult. There's 1.5 million names of tangerine out there. And so the question is, should we just call everything a tangerine? Should clowns just be called a tangerine? Should what is it? Infernos, mandarins. What are the other names that I always miss? Bam Bam's always correcting me on the one that I miss from Gecko Daddy. Gosh, what is it? What is the one that Gecko Daddy named? He named his own tangerine line, which is a mix of all the other tangerine lines, and then he named it for marketing purposes. He named it, what did he name it, guys? You guys know what he named it. You guys know. Tangle Crush. Thank you, Bam Bam. So there's a perfect example. You take a guy who's been in the hobby for 15 years. He started combining lines of tangerine that already existed. And then when those combinations started to become beautiful and enough time had passed, he named it his own line called the Tango Crush. But what is a Tango Crush? A Tango Crush is just simply a combination of all the lines of tangerine that came before it. So a tangerine is a tangerine is a tangerine is a tangerine. They all trace back to tangerine. We can do different things with tangerine. We could add spots to it, like Purplehead does. We could take away spots, like Tango Crush does. You never see a Tango Crush with spots. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's one of the features that he wanted, apparently, was a super hypo animal, an animal without spots. So Tango Crush, no spots. You know what I mean? Clown. Here's a great example. Clown has spots and jungle patterning, you know? Atomic Tangerine. Yeah, that's just another line of tangerine, you know? So here's the question. Should we just call it tangerine? Or should we let people market their names and market their brands, market their work? At the end of the day, people are going to do that anyway. They're going to, you know? So I think it's almost a mute question because it's going to happen. People are going to market their own stuff and that's that because it's good for marketing purposes, you know? Look at what a clown is. Do you know what a clown actually is? It's a combination of like 10 different things that Matt put together, but essentially at its core, a clown is a bold stripe, an emerine, and a tangerine all expressing its genes in one. Or bold stripe. He used, I think, if I were to reread his explanation of how he made the clown, I think he used bold stripe, but I'm almost positive he said bold something. And that makes sense because bold brings in black pigment into tangerine leopard geckos. And black pigment in tangerine leopard geckos sometimes turns green. Which is why, check this out. This is the reasoning behind why Matt did this. Matt took black knights and bred them into clown and then created Joker. Why did he do that? He even said this, and I think in one of his videos or one of his posts recently, he wanted to take the extra melanin, the extra darkness from Black Knight, infuse it into tangerine because he knows that when you take black pigment and mix it into an orange gecko, it creates green pigment. That's just the way it is. That's just what happens, you know? So he knew that he would stand a higher chance of creating geckos that retained their green coloration more into adulthood by adding Black Knight to his clown project, you know? So there's a perfect example. A clown is not a genetic. It is a mix of genetics. And same with like tangerine. It's just a mix of tangerines, you know? If enough time goes by and it has a different look, sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with that, you know? But also a lot of people are just like, a lot of tangerine stuff is... So just like I just use the example I just showed right now. That Mandarin Inferno that I had that looked like a purple head. I have a Mandarin Inferno that looks like a purple head. But John, who's the creator of purple heads, I bet you, he hatches purple heads that don't look like a purple head. So then the question is like, should he call that a purple head? Technically, it is a purple head because it comes from purple head lineage. And technically what I have is not a purple head, even though it looks like a purple head, because it comes from tangerine lineage. So that's where it gets a little tricky. But in general, people want to know the lineage, and I think lineage is the most important, especially with Black Knight. If I hand you a leopard gecko that is 50% Black Knight, I know that if you breed that 50% Black Knight to a pure Black Knight, you're going to get some babies that are pitch black the next season. I know that. So if I sold it to you as a normal, if I did not label it 50% Black Knight, let's just say I sold it to you, I was like, oh, here's a gecko with a little extra darkness on it, and you don't know that it's 50% Black Knight, you're not going to be able to capitalize on that lineage of the potential of what could be done. You want to capitalize on the knowledge of what that lineage is from. So that's why it's good to say 25% Black Knight, because a 25% Black Knight is different than a 50% Black Knight. And also for inbreeding purposes, you know that a 25% Black Knight is less inbred than a 50% Black Knight, which is less inbred than a 75% Black Knight. You know what I mean? So for inbreeding knowledge, as well as percentile-based knowledge of how dark an animal's offspring could be, you want to know where that animal came from. So even if a purple head tangerine does not look like a purple head, you want to call it a purple head because it came from purple head lineage. You know, whatever percentage, you could put percentages on that or whatever, but I don't know too much about where we talked about tangerine with Denise when she was on the show a long time ago. So if you want to watch that episode that we did with her, but basically, yeah, I mean, she said the same thing, you know, geckos had spots of orange on them. They bred them with other geckos with spots, and within like 5 to 10 years, they already started hatching out like magnificently looking orange geckos. It just happened to work out really, really well, you know. If a leopard gecko loses its tail, the tail's going to grow back smooth, and then the tail is also going to come back a little bit like off-colored, sometimes white or something like that. So are these genes mostly not recessive? 25%, 50% mean chance of the gene when it comes to ball pythons. Right. So tipping scales is... Sorry, my wife is on the phone and it's... The noise is distracting my ears. So let's see if we can use this whiteboard to explain this. So let's say you have a so these are going to be ball pythons right here. So ball pythons and Leos. So what tipping scales is talking about is if you have a snake, we work with puzzle. So let's just say het puzzle. Let's say you got a ball python that's het puzzle and you breed it to a normal. Then what you're going to get from this pairing is you're going to get, let's just say, you're going to get 4 babies. So you have your het puzzle up here. You have your normal down here. So this one's going to be het puzzle. This one's going to be het puzzle. This one is going to not be puzzle, not het puzzle. This one's going to not be het puzzle. So 2 of the babies out of those 4. So 2 out of 4 are going to be het puzzle. But these other 2 are not going to be het puzzle. However, all 4 babies look the same. 4 look same. So if you were to sell these babies, you would have to sell each and every one of these babies as 50% possible het. That's what PH stands for. 50% pos het puzzle. But when we're talking about leopard geckos, if you take a black knight, which is a black gecko, black knight, and you cross that to a normal, we're talking about line bred traits here and not Mendelian traits. So you don't use a Punnett square for that. You do a percentile based pass down. So the dad is going to pass on 50% of his genetics. So 50% of the genetics are going to be Black Knight, BN. 50% of the genetics are going to be normal. We'll just call them norm. So all of the babies from this generation, generation 1 of a Black Knight to a normal, all of them are going to be 50% black DNA, 50% normal DNA. Now, what happens if you take this animal and you breed it to, hold on, let's show that. Let's show it here. And this is where the percentages come in for leopard geckos. I also have a video on this. I have a video on this, breaking this down. Let's say you take an animal that's 50% black knight and you cross it with another animal that's 50% black knight. So these are two animals here. This is dad. This is mom. A matter of fact, let's just say you cross the siblings. So let's say you have two. So these babies right here, you have two. You have a 1.1 pair. And let's say you cross a male to a female. Here they are, male and female. Do the math with me. If this animal is 50% black knight and 50% normal, it's only going to pass on 1/2 of its DNA. So 50% in half is what? 25%. So it's only going to pass on 25% of its DNA. And the mom is only going to pass on 50% of her DNA. Sorry, it's passing on 50% of its DNA, which leaves you with 25% black knight genes or darkness. And if this animal cuts its 50% in half, you're left with mom passes down 25% black knight, dad passes on 25% black knight. You add those together, and the babies are all going to have 50% black knight genes and 50% normal genes. And you're left with the same thing. Now you could use that ratio and you could do it differently. You could do a this is the last one, I promise, and then we'll move on from this. By the way, there's our Wi-Fi if you're ever at our house. So let's do one more. How do people get like 75%, black knight? So let's say you take a 50% black knight and you cross it to 100% black knight. Well, if you cut this DNA in half, you're left with 25%. Plus, if you cut this DNA in half, you're left with 50%. 25% plus 50% is 75%. So if you take a black knight that is 50% black knight and you breed it to a black knight that's 100% black knight, all of the babies will be 75% black knight. But this is what I call the second generation crossback. The second generation crossback is when you take a 50% and breed it to 100%, and you're going to get a 75%. It's going to have more diverse DNA. It's going to have more diverse DNA, and it's going to be just as dark, if not darker, than the 100%. Because at the end of the day, dark equals chance. And some of these babies are going to be really dark from this pairing. I don't know if you guys look on our website. If you go to geekygeckocreations.com and you go to our sold leopard gecko section, if you go to our sold leopard gecko section, you will see a ton of leopard geckos that were only 75%. They were the second generation crossback. They were only 75% black knight DNA, but they were pitch black. That is because it only takes a second generation crossback to accomplish that. My phone is going to die, so I'll show you real quick. This is a second generation crossback. So technically, it's a 75% black knight. It has diverse DNA, diverse genetics, so it's stronger genetically. It's bigger, it's thicker, it's plumper than a normal black knight, and it's just as dark, if not darker, than some pure black knights. So I'm gonna have to end the stream there because it's dying, but thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, have a geeky gecko great day. Love you. Peace.